Louisville, home of the best scrapper, also home of the best rap.
You an American, right? You an American, right? Where was Manny Pacquiao?
What up, what up? You're watching Red Room Sports, home of Ali Land, Boxing Talk, the Louisville Cardinals Daily, and the Ghetto Angler Fishing only on the weekends. Alright, y'all, we got another boxing news topic surrounding the Manny Pacquiao versus Ryan Garcia potential fight. And the question of the day is Manny Pacquiao versus Ryan Garcia a confirmed exhibition bout? Alright, y'all, so love going through articles, man. You gotta read, to find out things, even in this social media day and time, because a lot of times people push false content for views. So sometimes you gotta, you can go to YouTube and everything, all your sources, but sometimes you gotta read to find out things. So this is according to MSN Sports. They have an article called, I'm sharing it to the screen so you guys can follow along. 5 prospective matchups for Manny Pacquiao in order of appeal. Alright, so let's break this down. According to them, there are 5 potential fights out there. This is according to them. I'm going to break down a little bit of their list once we get into it. So, alright, let's get into the article. Manny Pacquiao at 42 has only a few more fights remaining in his career. Thus, people pay attention whenever he's linked to a potential opponent. And, that's very true, because we don't have as much time left to invest in Manny Pacquiao, his legendary boxing career. It's almost like, man, when you hear some news about him, you just want to talk about it, man, because it's nostalgia, because his career is coming to an end, and you just want to be a part of it, man, in whatever way and fashion you possibly can. It's historic, and I'm hoping it has an historic and memorable ending to it. Alright, the latest name is Ryan Garcia, with whom Pacquiao reportedly is in negotiations for either a fight or an exhibition. Now, is some people saying it's an actual fight, some people saying it's an exhibition, some people saying they're just in negotiations, some people saying Ryan Garcia misspoke on Instagram when he put that post out there. So a lot of news going around. We don't know what's true, what's not. I do know what I read earlier. If you go back and watch my last video, you can find out what I found out about Manny Pacquiao. He is still on PBC Boxing, still under contract. They are working on a mega event with his name headlining it. When is that event coming? We don't know yet. But potentially Pacquiao has said he would like to return in April or May after the Senate session. So I feel like the fights that we're discussing right now are going to be that fight, the return fight for Manny Pacquiao in April or May. Alright, Garcia seemed to say on Instagram that a deal has been reached, but according to reports, that's not the case. That's not the case. Is Ryan Garcia the best opponent for Pacquiao among those that have been mentioned since Pacquiao outpointed Keith Thurman to win a major 147-pound title in July 2019? Or are there others in the boxing or mixed martial arts who would be better fits for Pacquiao at this stage of the game? Very interesting. Is Ryan Garcia the right name? Because this could really bite Manny Pacquiao in the butt if he picks Ryan Garcia. Nobody watches it, even if it's a real fight or an exhibition. If it's an exhibition, I feel like he's doing it as an exhibition tune-up for Earl Spence Jr. I don't feel like he's doing it just for the money. I feel like Ryan Garcia is a taller guy. If they do it at 100, if Ryan Garcia has to come up to 140 pounds for them to do it, or 141 pounds for them to do it, and Pacquiao stays at 147 because it is an exhibition. They don't have to be exact weights. I would look at it like this: Ryan Garcia is testing the water for if he can actually move up in weight, and who else better to test the water against than a legendary fighter? And if on Pacquiao's side, I would say Pacquiao's doing this because Ryan Garcia does somewhat imitate the body type of Earl Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, kind of in one, because he's a speedy guy. He's taller. He's a speedy guy like Terrence Crawford, and he's taller like Earl Spence Jr. He's just not as bulked up as an Earl Spence Jr. So I would say both of these guys would be using that exhibition as some type of tune-up for something bigger. And I would say Pacquiao mimics Gervonta Davis's body type, so perhaps Ryan Garcia is using Pacquiao as a tune-up for Gervonta Davis. So, a lot of things in play at the moment, or even a Teofimo Lopez fight. A lot of things at play at the moment. But let's move on. So I'm not going to give away the whole article, but you guys can here are 5 matchups that have been discussed for the future Hall of Famer in order of appeal. They have. I'm gonna start at number 5. All right, let's start at number 5. Let's go there. Okay, at number 5 they have Ryan Garcia exhibition fight. If Pacquiao and Garcia take part in the exhibition to benefit charity, God bless them. They are good people. That said, I have no interest whatsoever in seeing it, and I totally agree, man. I have no interest other than to see what Pacquiao brings to the table against what Pacquiao brings to the table as far as a tune-up for Earl Spence Jr. If he says, okay, I'm going to do this exhibition and then I'm going to fight Earl Spence Jr., I would have no problem with it. This is just a tune-up and an unsanctioned fight. I would have no problem with it. All right, at number 4, they have Conor McGregor. The Pacquiao-McGregor fight is the least competitive of all possibilities. In other words, McGregor would stand no chance, which I totally agree. McGregor just got floored by Dustin Poirier. Why even bother anymore with that? It was a farce and a joke to begin with. Hey, it is what it is, man. All right, at number 3, we got, once again, Ryan Garcia. And hold on, let me say something else about number 4. I think at this point, we can scratch Conor McGregor's name out of number 4. They put him in number 4, but me personally, I would etch his name out and put in Yordenis Ugas. So at number 4, I would have Yordenis Ugas, simply because Earl Spence has mentioned his name. He's on PBC. There is a very good possibility that Manny Pacquiao would possibly fight Yordenis Ugas. At number 3, they have Ryan Garcia, sanctioned bout. I was surprised to see some people dismiss King Ryan's chance against Pacquiao. Pac-Man is bigger and more experienced than Garcia, but he's 42 and will have been out of the ring for more than a year. I mean, true, but I think talent and the fact that I'm sure Pacquiao will make him come up in weight. I don't see him going down in weight to meet Ryan Garcia. And I think talent, the fact that Garcia is going to have to go up in weight, and Pacquiao's experience would have him winning that fight, exhibition or sanctioned bout. All right, at number 2, we got Mikey Garcia. Garcia isn't the threat that Crawford and Spence are, and he doesn't have the fan base of Ryan Garcia, meaning a Pacquiao Mikey Garcia wouldn't generate the interest as Pacquiao Ryan Garcia would, which I totally agree. I don't think people who don't watch and that are not boxing enthusiasts would be interested in that fight. I think only purist boxing fans would be interested in Manny Pacquiao versus Mikey Garcia. I think there would be a lot more interest for some reason in him fighting Ryan Garcia. And at number 1, we have Terrence Crawford or Earl Spence. The goal of every major belt holder should be to unify titles, which gives fans the closest thing to a genuine champion dysfunctional system. Crawford and Spence own the three remaining titles. I would fear for Pacquiao if he were to face either one of them, but if he wants to challenge himself and add to his legacy, this is the direction he should go in. I totally agree. I think for legacy and the fact that you're still a belt holder, you got to go for it, man. Why keep wasting your time with these nobody fighters who are not going to add anything onto your legacy? You could possibly get beat. Why not just go for the two top dollars? But my problem is he's been out of the game so long. I don't want him to just jump back in to a Terrence Crawford or Earl Spence fight. And I don't want him to have to fight Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford at the same, within the same year or the year span. It's not fair. Those two young guys should be fighting it out and proving who is the best out of their generation, and then they should be able to face the best of the last generation to truly unify the titles. What a great storyline that would be if you have the new school unifying and you have the new school unifying with the old school in a true passing of the torch type of fashion. If Crawford and Spence face each other, they are the two best fighters of the new age and welterweights and the up and comers. They're going to move up in weight. Manny Pacquiao is the best fighter left of the last generation, and he holds a title. How else? You couldn't write this. You couldn't write this type of stuff. No one could make this type of stuff up. Who else could say that a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao would still be around after getting knocked out by Marquez, after getting cheated by Bradley, after getting cheated by Jeff Horn, and he's still around and he's a champion again? So you couldn't even write this in a movie. So it would be the ultimate storyline. Crawford, Spence, unify. Whoever wins faces the new generation, facing the old generation, the last generation, for the true welterweight champion of the world. What a story it would be. And if it happens, it's going to be the greatest boxing movie ever made in history. If you like, man, hit that like button for me. Please subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. If you want to be involved in Red Room Sports, Ali Land Boxing Talk, the Louisville Cardinals Daily, or the Ghetto Angler Fishing, man, hit me up. Email, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you find me at. It's your boy Cardinal Red, and we are out of here.
You an American, right? You an American, right? Where was Manny Pacquiao?
Louisville, home of the best scrapper, also home of the best rapper.